Hello, this is Emily, president of Self Advocates of ADEC and podcast host. Welcome to another episode of our monthly podcast, Expert Tips by ADEC Self Advocates. Okay, what's a memorable experience with an individual you were working with?
So I have two. I have a client that I used to work with who he and his behavior therapist actually started a Facebook group where people on the autism spectrum, and really people with a lot of disabilities, could do social activities with each other. So that's an amazing. It's amazing to see how that program started and has kind of blossomed. It's this online Facebook group, and and it connects people with a variety of disabilities and opens them up to more people who also have disabilities, but who also want to have social activities and meet friends and do fun things.
Yeah, that's always very fun.
And then the other memorable client that I had was a lady who this participant, she had been homeschooling her kids for years. She is blind. She's homeschooled her children for years, and she always wanted to be a teacher, but she had not been to college or anything like that. But she's a very intelligent lady. She needed some technology. She found an online platform where she could do her own curriculum. So she does book groups, and she kind of teaches literature, and she has all of these different classes that she teaches, and she was able to work her way off of Social Security benefits.
That's impressive.
She is doing amazing still.
Yeah. Sometimes the ability of how technology is or intelligence on a person impresses me so much. It's insane how it's been updated now, how smart people could be.
Absolutely. Well, and also giving people access to technology, how much, you look at equipment, and sometimes equipment is really expensive, but it so dramatically improves that person's quality of life and their ability to work and to achieve their dreams. And it doesn't seem like the equipment is as expensive as enriching that person's life is important. So it's a small cost to be able to help someone to that degree.
True. And sometimes you don't expect that from technology sometimes.
Right.
What's a memorable experience with a company that you worked with that was hiring?
So, well, Mike H is working with a company in Goshen that has it's Stair Supply, and they have and they have a cohort of people with a variety of disabilities, and they assemble stairs and things like that. But it's so great to look at that team and how well that team works together. The guy that's the supervisor at Stair Supply, he used to be a teacher, and he really is just an amazing supervisor to all those guys that work together, and he does such a great job. And then Mike Hetherington checks in on his clients. I've actually been out to Stair Supply a couple times to check in on my clients, and it's such an amazing environment, and it's so great to see those guys working together.
Yeah, I have been there, and they do have a great relationship, and the supervisor is pretty amazing. I know in my experience, a lot of people say, "Oh, I would like to work there," but they only have such limited places for them. So, but yeah, it's a great company. I think ultimately what we want when we go out looking for employment is to make sure that the companies are aware that our individuals need an opportunity to show their abilities.
Yes.
And I think that when we do find that place, I think that it's important for us also to find those nurturing and natural supports that we know that company is going to take care of our client when we're not there, because we have to be there for so long. We can't be there for the whole shift. So
Right.
knowing when I'm gone that my client has good people around them, I think that's really important, that somebody else is going to jump in and say, oh, here's how we do this. You know, and just know that they're being treated with dignity and respect is super important. So if I get the sense that that's the case, that those are good people, then I feel like, you know, I've done at least part of my job.
You know, I realized that the people that go to college were very good people was when I ended up having an anxiety attack. And like there was so many people that go to college. It was insane. I had to take a moment to like breathe because I felt I was being a little too crowded. So I just kind of went into somebody's office and just kind of went into the fetal position. And immediately a staff knew where I was at and asked me if I was all right.
Right.
That's when I realized that people there are really good people.
And care about you as a person. I
Oh,
think
absolutely.
that's the important thing too, is that they care about you as a person. You're not just another employee
Correct.
or whatever. It's just they really care about you as a person. And I
Yeah.
think that's the environment that we want for all of our clients, is
Yeah.
that you have a supportive environment, whether Yuri's there or not, whether I'm there or not, that there are people that are around you that are going to support you even when we can't be there.
Yeah.
I feel like right now at the Soapinome, you have really good supports. A lot of people really care about you.
I think that you actually made me think of something else to add to kind of a hurdle or an issue, is employers not giving people opportunities. They only see the disability and are not willing to give them a shot. And I'm telling you, more times than not, if people are given a chance to show what they can do, they just knock people's socks off because they do such an
Yeah.
amazing job.
They're the people that are going to be there every day that they're
Right.
scheduled, and they're going to be there on time. I know that Emily is really on time with, like, you know, she gets there, she starts working, always on time. And when it's break time, right?
I try
Yeah.
to be on
So
time.
it's one of those things.
And I think that's the other thing with the disability stigma is, I think sometimes employers have this stigma of people with disabilities, they're not going to be at work, they're not going to be at work on time, they're not. Honestly, people with disabilities are the most reliable people and are the most consistent, because they're so happy to be working and to be accepted and to be included and all of that kind of stuff, that I think that's it's crazy. People sometimes just need a chance and maybe a little bit of technology or something to assist them, and they're amazing employees.
I can vouch for that because I've seen it in a lot of my clients. And it's a really good feeling, because when somebody's excited to be at their job, you know, it's obviously a positive thing. So we were talking about opportunities, and, you know, that's also another thing that we look for when we go out looking for employment, making sure that my client is not just going to go and do that one job that they have an opening for, but that there's also a chance for improvement, a chance for a higher role, a better paying job, always a chance for opportunity.
So, and chances for advancement. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a weird moment at Goshen College where like I started going on the up, and then all of a sudden I just stopped doing the other jobs I was doing, and I ended up just cleaning, which I actually didn't think of as a step down. I remember talking to the staff about that, and turns out it was just because I was a really good cleaner. I just tend to be a really good cleaner. I'm very thorough in my cleaning a lot of the time.
Oh yeah, I mean, with Soapinome, you scrape some of those buckets. And what was the one thing that you told me when they first gave you that job?
I remember immediately, it was like, this is my favorite job.
Yeah.
Like, it's so aesthetically pleasing. It's so satisfying.
Yeah. So for me to know that you found something that you spend your time doing and you enjoy doing it, that was like really important for me. And I know that when I go visit you, we have this thing where she gives me a task or like a job. We call it homework sometimes. And she includes me. And I love to be included because I can't imagine just standing there watching her.
Right.
You know,
Right.
most times I tend to get my clothes dirty, my hands wet, but it's important because that's how we build a bond, and that's how, you know, I know that when she's doing this specific task, if I was to struggle with it even a tiny bit, then I know what she's going through. So we always have that little homework.
Does she ever criticize you because you're not doing it right?
I don't think you've ever had, have you?
At least not like overly or harshly.
Yeah, it's constructive criticism.
It's mainly because like I have a system.
Yeah, it's really important to know what their system is so that way we don't overpower that, you know, because, you know, essentially that's their job. And that's why I always ask her, what is my homework? So when she's wrapping soap, usually my task is to hand her tape. So it's just
There you go.
super simple, but, you know, it's something that we can do while we chat, talk about the weekend, talk about work. It's a good opportunity for us to open up and, you know, get to know a little bit of each other. And eventually that's how it happens when I know that they're struggling with something. They can be open and they feel safe to express, you know, this is what's going on.
Right.
Since we're talking about jobs, and you talked about what was memorable for you for a job that was like hiring you, what was memorable for me for a company that I was working with? Well, let's just say I have a lot of jobs. I've had a lot of jobs over the years. When I first started working, it was Goshen College. Then I worked at the Electric Brew. I love that place. I'll admit, I really like their coffee. And at one point, I used to want to work with children. And also, I learned that children are a lot of work sometimes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a good thing that I'm becoming an aunt.
I think that people have an idea in their mind that this is what I want to do. And this is why it's important, the job that we do, because we take them to those places that they say, oh, I want to work at Growing Kids. And then we go there, and then they find out that maybe children is not their forte. And then now we move on to the next. You know, it's a good opportunity for like trying out different fields when they are in the process of discovery.
But I think that's what I like about the discovery process is really giving them the opportunity to experience that, because maybe they've always wanted to try that job. And then they try it and they're like, I do not want to do that job.
This happens a lot with individuals who want to work with animals.
Yes.
And they say, oh my gosh, I love animals. And then they get to working with, interacting with the animals. And then there's cleaning involved. There is maybe aggressive animals. And then they realize, you know, the noise is too loud. So then
Very
that's how
loud.
we know that maybe that is not the job. And it's okay. It's really okay.
Yeah, because sometimes work can be a lot of work, but sometimes it's very rewarding. It can be worth it.
What's rewarding for you at Sopino?
I like the idea that I'm doing a good job. That is the thing that I gotta be reminded of sometimes. That I'm still doing a good job. The thing that I still kind of struggle with is focus.
And what did Jenny do for you when she saw that maybe we struggle with focus?
She gave me like a focus cat sticker.
Yeah, that she could look at and maybe get back to focus.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a cute cat.
Do you remember what it says?
No, I forget.
Just focus. You're doing great.
Yeah, it's a good positive statement.
I need that sticker. I have trouble focusing sometimes.
Yeah.
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 I tend to also have problems with time management sometimes. I'm really good at wasting time on my computer.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to say thank you to our guest. Thank you for coming. It's been great. Thanks for tuning in and hearing from your neighbors with disabilities. Check out next month's podcast for a new guest and topic. I am Emily, host of Expert Tips by ADEC Self Advocates. See you next month.